From Cron 4, no one took charge. Scathing audit cites lack of leadership from Oakland mayor. And that's putting it nicely. Imagine being a completely corrupt Bay Area news organization and having to nicely say that this woman has quite literally destroyed everything. There's another video from a man named Aaron Peskin, who is a quote-unquote progressive, obviously a regressive, who is trying to further destroy San Francisco, if that is even possible. I want to take a look at after this one. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It costs you nothing, but it helps me a lot, and the algorithm is an absolute monster. But if you want to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
Oakland is facing some new criticism after an audit revealed widespread lapses were to blame for the failure to secure a grant to fight crime. The city auditor has just released this extensive 37-page report detailing how and why the city missed out on millions of dollars.
Yeah, lapses. They just dropped the ball. This is far past the point of incompetence. We know that, right? Anybody still, from Joe Biden all the way down the ladder, these people are just really stupid and they're silly. No, this is a managed decline they are doing on purpose. And I don't know the ins and outs of the scam, but I guarantee you they benefit from the destruction of these places.
Crowd 4's Teresa Stasio has been digging into this report. She joins us now live from the newsroom with some of the findings, and it was
probably, partly at least, the homeless industrial complex, right? So you always have a problem, so you can always ask for more money. Look, you see Gavin Newsom get $6.3 or $6.4 billion to clean up the homelessness after he said he was going to do that in 2008. He had a 10-year plan.
Problem of those that are out on the streets that we define as homeless, we better solve the housing problem if we're going to have an impact. And that's why we established this framework, what we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
Of course, that deadline came and went.
It's not so kind to the mayor.
No, it was not. Hi, Justine. The report lays out a very critical examination of what went wrong. It also points to the mayor saying a lack of leadership contributed to the city botching the process to get these critical funds to fight crime.
Found that there was problems with interdepartmental communication, also intra-departmental communication, project management, but
we want to make sure that we are investigating a 12-year-old claim of racism. It's always going to be police misconduct. You always want to point the finger, but never the thumb. So the criminal citizens are never at fault. The police are always at fault. But the criminal politicians, again, they lack leadership.
The lack of leadership.
On Wednesday, City Auditor Michael Houston explaining his department's findings and analyzing why Oakland missed out.
But I mean, it's such a mess, right? And I am sure money is being misspent all over the place. But you guys, the waters have been so muddied. I don't understand why I am to believe anything he says either. Is he going to pitch a solution?
Out on applying for the state's Organized Retail Theft Prevention Grant Program, or ORTP. The state budget.
And imagine that. I mean, imagine being so bad. There is car break-ins. There is brazen robberies all over the place. And you've gotten so bad that you were going to apply for millions of dollars to stop retail theft instead of just enforcing the law with the police that you've ran out of town over the past 4 years and fired them and blamed them for everything. And then, of course, you charge 3 police officers in a case that the former DA wouldn't charge. So the new DA is facing a recall. And then she decides that I'm going to charge these police officers, even though the last DA wouldn't do it because the autopsy said the victim who died in police custody was actually, suffering from an overdose.
According to an autopsy report, his death was caused by the toxic effects of methamphetamine, with the stress of the altercation, morbid obesity, and alcoholism contributing. Under the previous DA, Nancy O'Malley, an investigation cleared the officers, but under Price, an investigation was reopened in 2023.
This is ridiculous.
Budget Act of 2022 allocated $242 million to support local law enforcement agencies, such as OPD, to help prevent and respond to organized retail theft, motor vehicle theft, and cargo theft. The audit showed 38 separate Oakland City officials were emailed alerting them of grant monies ranging from $6 million to $15 million at stake months before the deadline. However, Auditor Houston said that his team discovered a process that was at times chaotic and in the end never successfully submitted the required documents.
No one who took charge, I think that's actually the language we even used in the audit, take charge to make sure that key deliverables were met or even identify.
And that's also very strange. Why didn't they do this? You would figure they could at least submit this paperwork, get the money, and then not help anybody and pocket the cash. But they couldn't even be bothered to do that. And the bar is so low that this is actually a good thing, right? We just saw a story about how the Oakland, the soggy side, is curious about who's donating to the recall of Mayor Shangtao. Who would do this, right? So the bar is so low that at least this is sort of the other end of that spectrum. So that media outlet is angry that the people who are trying to get rid of the mayor haven't disclosed themselves. And now they're saying, well, there's nobody in charge here. And I've said it a million times that there are no adults in the room. So again, the bar is so low that this is actually a step in the right direction.
What the key deliverables were, right? And then like obviously set timelines for those and assign specific people to those.
Auditor Houston says, bottom line, the city should make grants a higher priority. Moving forward, he says they have put forth these recommendations.
Develop and implement a citywide grant management policy that provides prescriptive guidance.
More bureaucracy. We need another department. The last one dropped the ball, so we're going to get rid of them and bring in some new people, and they are going to drop the ball. And if they don't drop the ball, they will submit this paperwork and then skim the money off the top.
Right, and including delineation of roles, and that reflects best practices so that no matter who's around, who's acting in interim capacity or who might just be brand new in the city, that there's some real...
Bro, how is this happening? These people are all so terrible, right? Like, how are these people getting jobs, right? And this guy seems like he's kind of level-headed, but it's all just weirdo word salad. What we need is a new bureaucracy to make sure that it's over. There's no cleaning it up, right? You think Gavin Newsom's going to help? You think Mayor Shangtao is going to help? You think anybody is going to help? And as soon as somebody tries to step in and say, this needs to stop, then you have weirdo media outlets like Oakland Side saying, it's illegal to try to stop this without telling us your name.
Strong guidance for them to follow so that we have a consistent and hopefully successful grant application process.
Ground 4 reached out to the mayor's office for comment, as well as OPD, the city council president, who is also
Let me guess. They had nothing to say.
Identified as playing a major role in the failure to secure funds, but have not received any response to the auditor's report.
Here's one more. This also from Cron 4. Board President Aaron Peskin enters San Francisco mayor race. And I don't know too much about this guy, but what I do know is that he has self-identified as the only progressive Democrat in the race for San Francisco mayor, and that's exactly what they don't need.
Your local election headquarters, we continue our coverage of the top candidates running for San Francisco mayor.
In a move anticipated by political insiders, Board of Supervisors President Aaron Peskin announced his candidacy.
The progressive shaking up a race that's dominated by moderates. Cron 4's Stephanie Lynn sat down with Peskin about
a progressive shaking up a race that's dominated by moderates. And the window, everything is so out of whack, right? That Peskin self-identifying as a progressive means he's completely crazy. And a moderate in San Francisco still means they're going to cater to the criminals.
Why voters should trust him to lead the city.
San Francisco under Mayor Aaron Peskin is going to look like a caring city that gets things done.
This is a delusional Bay Area version of Bernie Sanders, but even more extreme, right? All the millionaires and the billionaires. But even we remember back in the day, old school Bernie was like, oh, maybe we should close the borders. I can almost guarantee he's not going to do any of that. And I guess since there's no more tourism industry in San Francisco, several hotels have closed. But what's left are not going to be inhabited by tourists or conference goers. We're going to put the illegals. You know, we don't have, it's not quite as big of a problem as San Diego or New York. But when we do get them, we're going to say, well, they're homeless, right? Even though you guys have been dealing with American homeless for decades. Those people, I mean, this is just a bridge too far. So we have the story from Oakland about how nobody's in charge and we can't figure out why everything's so terrible. It's because you put in guys like this.
Candidate Aaron Peskin projecting confidence as he enters the race for mayor.
I've stood up for safety, stood up against hate crimes.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. And can we go back just a couple seconds there? Because I think the crowd is full of, okay, well, maybe there's like a little couple weirdo. And you would think, I mean, not to judge a book by its cover, but the Asian population who have been basically dealing with a lot of quote unquote hate crimes and theft and robbery and all that stuff wouldn't be going to bat for a progressive candidate. Now, they might be getting paid off, but my point was that it looks like there's a lot of awfuls in here, and that's what they do. They completely detach themselves from reality and say that, well, maybe if we just declare that everything's not a crime, crime will go down.
Stood up for safety, stood up against hate crimes.
The president of the Board of Supervisors, a tested lawmaker entrenched in the rough and tumble world of city politics for more than 2 decades, representing high-profile areas like Chinatown, Fisherman's Wharf, Union Square, and the Financial District.
We need a neighborhood mayor with the experience to rebuild.
Yeah, and businesses in all of those neighborhoods have completely fled. Right? I mean, nobody's there anymore. And then there was a video a couple days ago about how he wants to reimagine downtown San Francisco. Yeah, well, you have no choice because everything's gone. So you can call it whatever the hell you want to call it, but you've completely destroyed it, likely on purpose. And now you want to, and this is what happens in California, though. You want to graduate up to the mayor, and then you want to graduate up to governor and just complete. I mean, what's even left, bro? Right? You squeezed it all dry. What's even, I mean, electricity rates are going up even though we demand you drive an electric car. Gas prices are through the roof. Minimum wage hikes have destroyed the restaurant industry. I mean, you broke the glass and you can't put it back together.
Build our city from the ground up.
His past battles with sobriety, now part of his campaign message.
I know.
Oh, he's a drunk. Oh, okay, perfect. Just like scumbag greaseball bang your wife Governor Gavin Newsom was a drunk, slept with his campaign manager's wife, blamed it on the alcohol, went to an AA meeting, issued a mealy-mouthed apology.
Want to make it clear that everything you've heard and read is true. And I am deeply sorry about that. I've hurt someone I care deeply about, Alex Turk, his friends and family. And that is something that I have to live with and something that I am deeply sorry for. I am also sorry that I've let the people of San Francisco down. They expect a lot of their mayor, and my personal lapse of judgment aside, I am committed to restoring their trust and confidence, and will work very hard in the upcoming months to make sure that the business of running the city is framed appropriately.
And then graduated to governor. That's perfect, right? Right? Of course, you need an alcoholic to rule over the dope fiends, the zombie apocalypse that is San Francisco.
I know something about recovery, and if San Francisco is going to recover, let's bring positivity to this race.
I'm tired of the
And in a race dominated by centrist Democrats jostling for the spotlight.
I mean, hang on. Imagine that. Dominated by centrist Democrats, right? So there's nobody from another party even remotely close. And then you wonder why it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And for this man to self-identify as a progressive is taking a huge risk. But perhaps, and I don't think he's going to win. I don't know. We shall see. I don't think he's going to win. But London Breed is somehow a centrist. I mean, these people have completely lost the plot.
Could Peskin's distinctly progressive stance seize the attention of voters?
Being progressive has really been about listening to and
Being progressive is about being destructive.
bringing governmental action to folks who need the government the most. We need a leader who will fix our city for everyone, not one who will ruin it for the many to please a wealthy few.
Outlining 18 policy proposals, including increased police staffing, expanded rent control, and notably 15,000 new affordable homes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Increased police staffing sounds good, but it's probably fake. Expanded rent control and 15,000 affordable homes. That's literally just communism. I'm going to usher in communism. And do you think that the junkies self-vaccinating under the Bay Bridge in a tent on a bed of needles are going to go into those houses? No, bro. The money's going to go directly into your pocket, and you're going to erect a handful of shoddy, weirdo clean injection sites.
Using tax-deferred financing.
The city has a lot of luxury housing, and the city has also been able to maintain single resident occupancy hotels for the poorest of us. But the missing middle needs to be addressed.
Pushing back against critics who accuse him of blocking housing development.
Hang on. There is no way that this progressive candidate is going to revitalize the middle class.
Pushing back against critics who accuse him of blocking housing development.
The ordinance is finally passed. Next item, please.
Earlier this year, city supervisors passed Peskin's measure imposing density limits in several historic neighborhoods.
Our neighborhoods are the envy of people around the world. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
No, that's just not true. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, but you are not the envy of anybody now. I mean, people are literally walking over human feces and needles and dodging tents on the sidewalk. Nobody wants to do that anymore. And I can guarantee that this man, as terrible as all those other candidates are, this is just how awful they've gotten, right? This weirdo guy who, is it housing? Bro, it's a complete scam. How do you not see this? I think you guys overplayed the hand, and I'm hoping that people can tell this is not true. So it's only going to come down, just like in the federal level, if voting is real or not. Because I could pretty much guarantee that even the brainwashed moron sheep in San Francisco are going to look at this and say, I don't trust this guy.
All solution.
On the fentanyl crisis,
I support arresting anybody who deals fentanyl or other life-threatening drugs. Drug users, on the other hand, need services.
I asked him.
There we go. And there you have it. Yeah, I'm going to arrest the fentanyl dealers. That sounds good, but he's probably not going to do it. And, you know, the rest of the users, we're just going to let them roam around like zombies, right? I'm not going to do anything about that. That's stigmatizing.
If he agreed with challenger Mark Farrell's promise to clear the city's homeless encampments in 6 months.
False or fake promises. We need a place for those people to go, because what happens in an encampment suite is people are pushed from one neighborhood to another. That is not a solution. A solution is 2,000
is to put them in jail.
Shelter beds, and I have a plan for that.
They sound like great ideas, but why weren't you able to achieve them as the president of the Board of Supervisors?
The Board of Supervisors can pass laws, but the captain of the team, the quarterback of the team in San Francisco is the mayor. I know how government works. I have deep connections in every department, and I think I can bring that to bear as mayor.
In San Francisco, Stephanie Lynn.
Look, I'm just genuinely curious how it got this bad, okay? Right? Years, decades of brainwashing or whatever, but I would also venture to say that this guy's going to call every other thing in the book racist, but not him, though. He's an old white man. So in any other case, we should certainly judge on race and gender, but not now. Now, I am running for mayor. Again, I don't think he's going to win. And London Breed, who is absolutely terrible and paid nearly $23,000 in ethics violations fines. Even she, right? She's skimming climate change funds. I mean, it's all a complete mess. So how do you clean this up? Right? And we saw it just the other day from Oakland side. When you try to clean it up, you have media outlets claiming that you are the problem. So in Oakland, I should say, no one took charge, and that's why they dropped the ball on it, which is crazy because somebody should have taken charge. They could have got the funding and filtered it through their own pockets. Then when somebody calls them out, They are now the bad guys. Same thing in Arizona. Oh, I'm bringing charges against 11 people because they didn't bow to our insanity. And then in San Francisco, they want to make this worse than it already is by, quote unquote, electing this regressive